Hi, today we are in Tacoma, Washington, two Alaskans on vacation, and there is such gorgeous landscape here. What is this called again?
I think it's Seymour.
Seymour Conservatory Gardens?
Yes.
It's close anyway. So behind us, we thought since the weather has been so rainy, apparently we brought the storms down from Ketchikan, that we would come here because there are painting and drawing opportunities that are indoors. So that's our thought. We're staying at a beautiful bed and breakfast here in Tacoma near Point Defiance Park. We're hoping to go over to the aquarium there later, but we're hoping to do a little painting and drawing up here, so glad you came along. My name's Danielle, this is Tony. I am a painter, an artist, have been for decades. And we don't often get off of our little Alaska island to come down on vacation. We're also planning to go to a football game in Seattle on Monday. So we're just out seeing the sights. We were hoping for a little better weather, but right now the sun came out. So here we go. I'll show you the inside when we get in there. Okay, so apparently this is Wright Park. And it was established 1890. And we're just learning about this now. You can look this up online. This is part of Parks Tacoma. Health-giving environment of trees, plants, and flowers. And what Tony mentioned over here is another sign that calls this W.W. Seymour Botanical Observatory, Metropolitan Park District of Tacoma. All right, here we go. We're up at the observatory now. We're pretty excited. Small town people visiting the big city. Yes, we left a donation. Oh, it smells amazing in here. It's so sweet and it's warm. Look at the color on those. That would be amazing to paint. Look at the size of this agave plant. Okay, we found a spot. It has been raining off and on out here, and now the sun is out. We walked around while it was raining, just seeing if there was going to be an opportunity to try to paint, because I've learned my lesson about painting in the rain. But here's the spot that I chose, and I'm going to do my best with my watercolor set. I like the shapes of these trees and the colors, blue sky. It's blue sky over there, a few clouds, but it's been raining off and on. I'll show you my watercolor setup that I brought with me. Okay, so I have my pencil case that I use to set my paper on. I have a little pencil. I'm going to try to plan a little composition before I start. I have to really force myself to plan carefully. I like to just dive in, so I'm going to try to plan as carefully as I can in between rain. And then I have my little Van Gogh watercolor set. I didn't even really know what these colors are called. I think this is like a alizarin crimson. I think this is ultramarine blue. That was probably a cobalt, lemon yellow, that may be a kind of cadmium. There's a green. I think this is maybe Payne's gray. This is a very old set, so 20 years old at least, so that's why I can't remember exactly what the colors are. I did refill this one, that's why I know that one is ultramarine. All right, let's get started. So I'm gonna try to get this tall tree in here. There's this really pretty yellow tree here, has some little branches going through. Wish I had my gouache set with me, but it was a little harder to travel with. This does not go out that far. It's a little Japanese maple here, and those kind of come down like that. There's a little island that this sits on. It's an artificial rock here. Maybe put some of these rocks in the edge of the path. There's actually a little bridge over there, but I don't think I have enough room to get that bridge in. It's just gonna go very, very fast. Big old evergreen back here. That'll feel like home, evergreens. Okay, so that kind of gets the layers in. Just have my little water pen brush, so nothing fancy. Okay, I think that's enough for this one. I'm going to have to wait for it to dry to get some details in there. It's very wet right now. It's very damp out here. So hopefully we'll be having some more adventures that I can bring you along with, and I can do some more painting in other unique locations. And thanks for joining me on this one. We are at Point Defiance Park here in Tacoma now. It's right on the saltwater, and we went to this really beautiful little Japanese garden, and it has these water features like this, which is really cool. We do have plenty of water features at home, just naturally, but Japanese gardens are so charming and organized and beautiful. So we're just looking for a good place to sit and paint again. The weather has improved some since our first art stop, but look at this beautiful light on these Japanese maples. Not sure what that is. Do you guys know? Is that a sequoia? That is a stunning tree. It is a little windy still. This is a really cool section with all of these rocks in here, and then these trees sprouting out of that. That tree over there, a couple Japanese maples. That one looks like it's glowing. This is a really cute scene. I would like to paint this. I might take a reference photo with that bridge and all these reflections. It's really beautiful. This is really cool too, how these bright leaves got caught in the needles of this little tree. I do not know what kind. They don't have any labels on these trees, so it's hard to say. So we just want to find something to paint. We're going to go up to the original pond. We passed a pond up here that we thought would be good to paint at. So let's go up there. So this apparently is called the pagoda on the map. And what year was this active? Was it early 1900s? Like early 1900s, this was a trolley station. Go look at the sign. Here's the first pond that we came to. where we were thinking of painting. A stronger light up here. Oh, very windy. Look at this tree, it's so sculptural. That's really cool. There's a lot of complicated little things here. I don't know if I'd want to put in all of these statuaries and such. No benches here to sit on though for painting. You could sit on those rocks, I guess. So here's the shrine, the explanation of this. There's the shrine and torii donated by Tacoma's sister city, Kokura, Japan. Okay, so we just stopped at an art store and we bought all kinds of new things. I got some new acrylic gouache and I got these watercolor pencils, which I thought would be kind of fun. So I want to paint this sculptural tree here and maybe some of the trees in the background, but mostly I want to paint this tree. So I want to try to use my new watercolor pencils, maybe to sketch it in first. I just got some primary colors, plus this purple that I couldn't resist. Here we are at the Museum of Flight in Seattle. I just sat for a while and drew a Coast Guard helicopter, one of my favorite aircraft. And that was a challenge. I usually don't do things like that, but there's all these World War II planes here. We just took a tour of the Concorde. Don't know if we're going to have much more to do for art, but I do have a couple pieces of watercolor paper yet. We're going to go to a Seahawks football game tonight. Who knows, maybe I can do a little painting there, keep myself amused. Joni here is a football fan. I am not much of a football person. Here's a plan for an artist's heart. Look at that. Look at those colors. Let's see what has been done to it to create this. So MiG-21. Oh, those are beads, apparently.
No, I learned that after photography too.
That's really interesting. He was a photographer and filmmaker in the 1990s, and he created a body of work that would educate people on the history of apartheid, global arms trading, and trophy hunting. So he worked with artisans from Zimbabwe and I don't know how to say the other thing, Mpumalanga province of South Africa, including the women of the Ndebele tribe who were renowned for their beadwork. And so they created this, all this beadwork. Look at that, that is incredible. Who knew we'd find a beautiful piece of art at the Museum of Flight? Here's some more information about the project. How to bead a fighter jet. And then there's a QR code that you can find out more about it. And they have pictures of creating it. Very interesting. I think I'll look up that project when I get home. Pretty awesome. I'm going to take a selfie with it too. Okay, we are downtown Seattle, right on the waterfront. It's very busy, it's beautiful and sunny. We have about an hour before we have to head to the airport. So we thought we'd stop and do some drawing, maybe watercolor. It's going to be an exercise in simplifying this fairly complex scene and not losing our supplies. A little piece of watercolor paper, my little watercolor kit. So let's see what we can do. So I'll get a little bit of... I'm gonna start with my waterproof pen. I think I'll use my smallest one because I feel a little nervous that I'm going to make mistakes. Okay, I think that's it for my drawing in downtown Seattle, my painting. Here's my scene behind me. I did modify it some. Here's my little painting. Not terribly unhappy with it. I think it could use some more definition, but it's still pretty wet, so I'm going to stop there. And maybe I'll put in some more details later. Maybe I'll leave it the way it is. Let's see what Tony's doing. He's been sitting here working hard next to me. I got to make sure my painting doesn't fly away. Let's see what he's doing. All right, what you got
Using
here?
the watercolor pencils without any water yet, so when I add water it'll change a little bit.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, nice drawing. Excellent. So we've been having a lot of fun art adventures here in the Seattle Tacoma area. This is our last one. We're about to catch a cab to the airport. Thanks for joining us on this fun adventure. We survived the Seahawks game last night and they won against the Texans, right? So that was fun, a little out of my wheelhouse, but it's something I'm doing because Tony is a longtime Seahawks fan. Anyway, thanks for joining, and I hope you're having some fun adventures. Stay creative and have fun.